Alright, this is going to be an unusual DIY video. So we borrowed an RV from a friend, and the generator wasn't working, so I'm messing with it, charge up the battery, and went to go crank it over, and it sounded like it didn't have any compression. So then I pulled the generator out, and I noticed that it wasn't turning over at all. So that tells me that it's most likely a starter. So then I checked power and grounds to the starter, and pretty basic, you know, it's a pretty basic starter, just like a car. Anyway, I was getting power and ground, good stuff, good solenoid, all that good stuff, and so I deemed the starter bad. So I am now I'm taking it apart. This is the first time I've ever taken a generator, even messed with a generator at all. And so I'm going to walk you guys through on how I pretty much did it. So basically, generator is inside this door here. There was 4 bolts on the bottom of the bracket, 4 bolts. Okay, you take those 4 bolts loose, and then it pretty much slides in and out. I know not all generators do that, because I did some YouTubing myself, and some of them you have to like drop it down at the bottom. This one actually slides out. Now what I did was I actually took a board and cut a board, a wide, I think it's like a 12x1 board, and cut it to fit, and put a jack underneath it to kind of stabilize it. And then I put a little block, put a block here just to kind of really make it solid, you know. So first you take off the panel, the top panel, which is pretty much got a bunch of 8mm screws or 5/16, whatever you want to call it. Most of this stuff on here is standard size, SAE size. So anyway, take that panel off, and it kind of gives you access to almost everything. And you do not have to take off this pulley. I thought I was going to have to, but thankfully I didn't have to, because I don't have a puller here at home. Probably have one at work. It might be easier to pull this pulley off, but you don't have to. So anyway, you got a bunch of different panels here, and a bunch of screws. Pretty much, you know, they're like all lined around here. And you get these panels out. You got to kind of wiggle this panel out, because this one kind of gets in the way. Just loosen this one up, got the panel out, and then a couple other panels there. This panel right here, I didn't necessarily have to take it off, but I had to move it up in order to access that hole right there, which is actually the hole for one of the starter bolts. And then after I got all that off and I was able to access the bolts to the starter, there was another bracket. This bracket was sitting right in here, and I pulled this bracket out, pretty much kind of wormed it out. A lot of this stuff is kind of overlapping. You can kind of worm it out. It's pretty thin metal. Okay, and then as I went to go pull the starter out of this hole, the starter sits right in here. All right, there's the starter on the ground right there. Sorry I didn't show you guys as I was doing it, because I never done it before. But as I pulled the starter out, it kind of got stuck in between the block and this bracket right here. And this bracket pretty much just holds the exhaust part of the generator. So what I did was I actually took this bolt out here. This cable right here goes to the starter. You take that off too. And I'll make sure you disconnect your power before you do all this. There's a bolt right here. Just took that bolt out, and I was able to kind of move this bracket just enough to worm that starter out. So you know, at first glance it looks pretty ugly to do, but in all actuality, if I had to do it again, it would probably take me 15-20 minutes. It took me all of maybe 45 minutes to figure it out, and this is my first time doing it. So I hope this helps. I hope this helps anyone out there else that's potentially going to do a starter. It's, you know, if you have any type of mechanical background, it's really not that hard. I went into this, I'm the type of person that I'm not scared of anything, but you know, if you're a little nervous about doing something like this, it's really not that bad. So I encourage, this is just my video to hopefully encourage anybody else out there that might be scared to do this, and just watch the video, rewind it, pause it, whatever, you know. I'm sorry I didn't take a video of me actually taking it apart, but you know, like I said, this was my first time, and again, I hope this video helps, and good luck.